Welcome back to Adobe Live, and I hope everybody is here on adobelive.com because that is where the full experience is. That's where you get the chat, that's where you get the video, that's where you get all the interaction with us, that's where you get the schedule for day 2 and day 3, because yes, this is day 1 of our live stream extravaganza on mobile illustration. And for the next 2 hours, for our last segment of the day, we are here with Rocky Roark.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, he just taught me how to say Roark because it's Roark. It's like just like Mickey Rourke. So don't get pissed at me if I'm starting to say, hey, Mickey.
It's fine. I've had almost 27 years of experience saying
people
it.
calling you Mickey.
No, it's like people messing up the last name.
All right. So welcome. And maybe we could just start by saying a little bit who you are. Yeah. Do you want to maybe go to your website or?
Sure,
I don't know if you want to.
Actually, let's not do that. Worry about that right now because I'm sure it's probably in the description down below.
Yes, it is in the description.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So. My name is Rocky Roark. I'm a freelance illustrator and designer based in sunny San Diego. I originally am from Georgia. Not that fun, but yeah.
As a European, I don't even know where Georgia is.
It's fine.
It's on my mind.
It's on my mind.
There you go.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's the number one thing everybody can remember. But from the Savannah, Georgia area, born and raised, moved out to San Diego about 3 years ago. I've worked in print, branding, marketing, and UI UX design, and now I'm a full-time illustrator and branding designer. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm a YouTuber, entrepreneur. Yeah,
cool.
Jack of all trades.
How do you like San Diego?
I love it. Best weather.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because it doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold, just perfect. Yeah.
All right. Chilling in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mickey. Sorry. So I just one last question. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Our little
designed.
Yeah, all right. Little hovering art director there. Just one last question. On the title of your website is Blue Cyclops?
Yes. So back in college, I created my first ever branding for myself, and I created this avatar I actually called Blob. And he's a blue Cyclops. He has stuck with me since 2010, so about 7 years now. He's just like evolved and everything. He's become like my mascot, my branding, my logo and everything. And I don't know, like I've just always had this like huge love for Cyclopses.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, because I didn't see any reference on the website about Blue Cyclops. So, but then there it is.
Yep.
Right up there in the corner. All right. Rocky Roark.
Yep.
All right. So what are we going to be doing in the next 3 days? Do you have like a plan for 3 days, or do you want to do something on like different each day?
I'm going to try and do something different each day. It's actually interesting because I have barely used this app.
Okay.
I use Adobe Illustrator. That's my number one piece of software I use. I use it with the iPad through Astro. But I just started using in fact, the Adobe Sketch app has now worked its way into my workflow.
Yep.
I do all my digital sketches in there. In fact, what you're going to see here in a moment was actually created all in Adobe Sketch. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start today off by inking and maybe coloring this illustration here. And I might create a couple other things, maybe even live tomorrow. And just go from there, because technically I'm still learning the software, so that's actually pretty interesting.
That's actually a good way to start talking about it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Photoshop Sketch on the iPad.
Yeah,
that's
actually,
an iPad Pro. Before anybody asks, it's an iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil.
Correct. Yep.
And let's go for it.
Yeah. So I brought the sketch into Adobe Draw already. Basically, I've been playing around with this one single brush. I'm not a big fan of the tapered edges, so I've just been playing around with it. So I'm just gonna get started. If there's any questions that pop up, please This is the one thing that it's always fun for me, is just trying to get a straight line.
So Kevin Schneider says, I guess this stream will be great. You bet.
Yes, it will.
The next 2 hours are going to be unforgettable.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because Georgia's on our mind.
So
bigger.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to shut him off.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty funny because I was watching the live stream earlier, and I actually was learning stuff as I was going. I was actually watching, and I was like, okay, what can I learn in the span of just like 3 hours before I jump on here? And so that's when I learned about like the basic shapes, which, oh my God, they help out so much. And like testing these out, I love it. And the cool thing is like with these, I'm not really trying to be too precise. I actually want it to be a little bit like janky. I don't want it to be like too straight and everything like that. I want it to feel really hand drawn. And so like I'm just like really playing around with this. I love.
And with the pressure, you can like also have like different sizes, right?
So like for instance, so like I can start off light and then go all the way over. I love that.
The same on the circle, right?
Yeah, the same with the circle. I just wanted that to be a little bit more
okay.
even, But like, for instance, with the pupils, I'm just going to freehand that, just like that, because I prefer pupils to actually be kind of irregular. Let's see, I'm going to bring down this a little bit.
So there's a question here about from Kevin. Can you share some tips on character design? You know, but just before we start, like maybe like how did you get to that cowboy? Like how.
So a lot of times, sometimes I'm inspired by pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, one of my most popular illustrations I've done was my Stranger Things illustrations, and it was basically like I binge watched the entire season in one night.
Well, who didn't?
Yeah, I know, right? And then the next morning I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have any client work today. Why don't I just like start creating? And I created like an 11 character, and then I was like, okay, this is crap. Let me redo it. And I did a better one, and I was like, okay, let me create a couple more characters. So a lot of stuff like is pop culture. And another illustration I did was a King Kong Skull Island piece, and I just was like, I gone to see the movie, I went to bed, and then in the middle of the night, like 2-3 a.m., I woke up, and in the complete pitch black darkness, I took a sketch pad next to my bed and just sketched out a quick thing. I was like, like that, Next morning, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a King Kong piece.
All right.
Yeah. So, but character design, like this here, I was just like, I started just sketching out the character.
Okay,
and then
Rocky drawing in the dark. Can somebody call 911, please?
But I just started sketching like the rough outlines of the character, and it eventually just like turned into this character here. See, originally I wanted it to be like a cowboy. Sometimes this doesn't work out. I wanted it to be a little bit of like a cowboy, and then I was like, okay, wait a minute, maybe let's change it up. Let's make him like an Australian type character, like a bush hunter. And everything. There we go.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. And so he just kind of like progressed from there. And I mean, that's how some of these characters do. I'll just start drawing like the basic shapes, just like sketching it out, and then it just comes to me. You know, it could be like, I think for this character, I started off with the shape of the head, and then I created the hat. And I was just like, you know what? I kind of like this. I like the hat and everything. I started doing the body, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, his shirt, you know, it's not feeling too much cowboy. It's like, I don't know. And so I like added these like rolled up cuffs. I like changed up the hat a little bit. And next thing I knew, he was like kind of like a croc hunter type.
Yeah, and they have like these corks hanging from their hats, right?
Yeah. So it's like it was pretty cool.
Get the flies away. It's like that's why I have long hair. Flies away.
It's actually funny because I just got a haircut yesterday, and I'm like so glad because I didn't want to come in here with like a mop of hair and everything. So basically, like, I'm just playing around with it and seeing what works. If like something doesn't quite work for me, I just like undo it. The great thing is it's not permanent.
I think there's a gesture you can do as well, like
I think
fingers,
it's like
not the other way.
Other way, undo, and then like, oops.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like that's the best thing to me is like it's not It's not permanent because I do a lot of like ink drawings as well, but I don't know. I love doing digital.
Well, actually, Gus, this is not the pencil brush in Photoshop Sketch. We're actually in Adobe Illustrator Draw. This is so cool. We have such a team here working now, and people doing stuff over there and here, and I can sit here in the center and correct everybody.
Talk about a community, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
And yes, Herr Maulwurf, that's a friend from Germany. He's asking, is this the night shift? And this is indeed the night shift, because this is actually the afternoon shift here in San Francisco, because it is 3 p.m. So afternoon, like just before tea. But in Europe right now it's midnight. So
oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you might not know it, but I come from Europe.
Yeah.
I flew over.
Oh,
so
wow.
in my mind,
it's still nighttime.
This is the night shift.
Oh man, how long's that flight?
10-11 hours.
Ooh. The worst I've ever had was flying from San Diego to Georgia, and it was like 4 or 5 hours. So it's not that bad, luckily.
So somebody's asking, well, you should create a character of this kind. You should create a Rufus character in this kind of style. Well, we already have a Rufus kind of character in this style. You see, like telling all these things. And
yeah, like for me, it's like with characters. A lot of times, I start things with no clear idea at all. Like it'll just like literally. Actually, you know what? Tell you what. Because we're talking about character, we'll put that on hold and jump in here. And I'm gonna see if I can't do almost like a sketch in here just to show that character aspect, because I think that might be pretty cool for people to see.
So now you're sketching still in
Adobe Draw, yeah, just to like show like how I normally start a character like that one. So a lot of times what I'll do is I literally will start with a circle. It'll be probably better in Sketch, but that's okay. I start with a circle, and I always do like these cross marks to tell me where the center is going to be, because like, you know, it could be where maybe it'll be off to the right or off to the left, so I want it to be center. Then I'll start with like some rough like ears.
And that's one of the key mistakes everybody makes when they start drawing ahead, is the eyes are in the center. They're not up here. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, like the one thing is, because I remember...
Except Cyclops.
Exact Cyclops. Yeah, exactly. No, it's interesting because I remember in like elementary school, my first teacher who was teaching me how to draw and everything, she was like, okay, always have your eyes lined up with your ears. And that's always stuck with me ever since. And so like I always first do the ears, and then usually I'll do the eyes, and they're always right there aligned with these. Then what I'll do is I'll do like a nose. And just depending on like the style I'm doing, you know, like for some reason lately I've been like really into these like rounded like 3-prong type noses. Add little pupils there just as placeholders. Eyebrows. Let's see. Let
me model for you.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Give him like a little bit of a beard here. And like this is super rough. Like I always love sketching in Photoshop with actually Kyle Webster's brushes. I saw he was in the chat earlier today, and I'll like use his brushes, and because I love like it looks like a pencil. It looks like a real pencil versus it, you know, feeling like just a regular stock brush and everything. So like that's always fun for me. Is like it still like comes back to my roots of sketching and everything. So
Are You Anurag says, great to see Rocky here on Adobe. Really like his videos.
Yes, like I have a YouTube channel, and I do some tutorial videos now, and I also do like I did some speed drawing videos. In fact, I did the King Kong piece speed drawing.
And Erlen Masson says, I'm watching from London. I love the costume illustrations you did for Envision. Did you come up with the ideas for them? Did you come up with these ideas for them?
They came to me with the list of the ideas. I helped them like fine tune it. I think there was a couple of them I might have offered, but for the most part, they were the ones that really did it.
There you go, Erlen.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun working on that project. That was actually the first time I did that style for a client. Because I did the Stranger Things was what defined that style for me. And then from there, I started doing some client work in that style. Okay, and so we have like a nice little rough sketch here.
Yep.
You know, and so let's go ahead and ink them. Blow that up some. Actually, let's transform it.
It's a rough roof.
Yep. All right. Zoom that in. I tell you, when I first started using this, there was like much of a learning curve to it. Especially like coming from Illustrator, I think like the biggest thing that I struggled with, and I still kind of struggle with it a little bit, is the fact that, you know, when you use the brush in Illustrator, it has this like self-correcting feel, and then to come in here, it feels a lot like Photoshop in that it's very like fluid. So let's bring up the opacity back up there. Let's test out the stroke, new lighter. That feels about right. Okay, and so I'm going to use the shapes here. Oops. To get this curve. That's about right. Bring it up.
There's French curves in there as well, do you know?
Yeah, and believe it or not, I've never really used French curves.
No?
Yeah, even in design and art school, never used a French curve. I've watched people use them.
Maybe you guys call them freedom curves here?
Well, like I've never. Okay. It's very hard for me to catch sarcasm. It really is. It's like my biggest weakness. My fiance always makes fun of me with that. And do that here. Let's just erase. No wonder. Okay. I forgot to create a new layer.
Yep.
But that's fine. We're just practicing here. That's like the one thing I love about these apps is that, you know, I don't have to be tethered to a computer. Because I used Wacom tablets for a good long time. And then I got this iPad Pro, and it just completely changed up everything for me.
Yeah, it did, and especially with the Apple Pencil. I'm always saying that, but I think the iPad Pro without the Apple Pencil would never have been.
Yeah.
Never would have had that success.
It never would have had the success because that was one thing. Because for me, the biggest problem I've always had with any type of drawing tablets is that feeling of when you take the stylus and you glide it across the screen. I cannot stand the glossiness. So I actually have a textured screen protector on here, and so it makes it feel like...
Is it the same one that Robzilla was
It's not the
about?
same one that he has. It's very similar, because I looked it up after hearing that he had one too. It's very similar, and it feels more natural, and it has that like Cintiq type feeling to it. Because that was definitely something that I struggled with, was just like, you know, I got the iPad Pro, and I was just like, I don't really like how it's like gliding like this. And I remember the old Cintiqs used to have the exact same thing where it was like gliding, and so I just started looking at different ones. I think I actually bought like 3 or 4 different screen protectors to try them out, and this one was by far the better of them. And they're not that expensive either, so that's pretty cool. And so now I'm actually, because I want it to be like very like hand drawn, I'm actually intentionally like messing up the lines. Except for like these ones. Just to give it a little bit of hair detail in there. So let's get that shape again. How are we doing with questions?
Well, Kelly's asking, do you know which specific screen protector you have? You know, that would be great to know.
Oh, I think it was like I carve or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
I carve.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Evil Cerise, if you're still here, if you can look it up. And Robzilla, what was yours called again?
Tech Armor. Yeah. I think I looked that up too, and they were the same exact price and everything. So it's like it's very inexpensive, which that was a big shocker to me. I figured that it would actually be a lot more expensive for screen protectors. I know it is for like iPhones, and for something this big, I was like actually kind of shocked. And I was actually tempted to get the same type of screen protector for my phone, but decided not to. I decided it wasn't really worth it.
So Michael Monnier, the brand of the screen protector that like has a paper feel, that's like the Tech Armor thing that Robzilla was talking about earlier today.
Yeah, it's definitely, it completely changes like the whole feel of everything. So let's see. Let's give him, start working on that beard. It's actually interesting because Saturday will be my 1 year anniversary of actually freelancing full time.
Wow. So what triggered that decision?
Well, actually, and it's something like at first I was nervous about telling people I was actually fired.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been fired from both of my jobs I've had since college. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I'm being, fired and everything like that. And then a good friend of mine, he actually told me, he was like, dude, well, look at it. You're not meant to work for someone else. You're meant to work with people.
There you go.
So, and I was like, you know what, that's the best thing that anyone's ever said to me. But no, being on my own has like really given me a ton of freedom.
Yeah, so like there's a follow-up question. So what's the key lesson you learned this year?
Oh God, the key lesson I learned was, especially for when it comes to freelance, is don't just sit there waiting for clients to come to you. You have to like go to the client. That was definitely like a big thing for me, because I ended up when I first like announced I was going full-time freelance, I started getting tons of inquiries coming in. I had a lot of projects. In fact, within like the first week, I had like half of my year's salary, come in, and it was great. It was a great experience. I was like, yes, the ship has come in, and then the next year started, and from January to March, I had no new clients come in. It completely dried up. Yeah, it happens. And and the main reason why was because I wasn't reaching out to people. I was like expecting them to come in from Dribble or come in from like referrals, and that's just not how it works. Like you have to be on your game. You have to, be looking for those potential clients. You have to be going to conferences, going to events. You really have to push yourself.
Yeah.
So.
And also, like downtime like that is a great opportunity to do personal work and like do things you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, that definitely was like a big thing for me because of the downtime, I started a YouTube channel, which it grew relatively quickly. I think within 6 months it had over 1,000 subscribers, and it just like it really helped out. Like I had that time, I got into doing more video and everything like that. I was able to work on some personal projects, and it was really great. And now it's like ever since April, I've just been getting hit with more and more work, and it's great. I love it and everything. And so I'm actually looking forward to that next downtime.
Account Zero says, that's what I'm afraid of, having to work and chase clients. Huge day in perspective. Nah, well, if you're working, you don't have to chase the clients.
Yeah,
right?
it's like I still chase. Like that's what I started doing. In fact, I started to focus a lot more on business in the past 3 months, and because of that, business has like gotten so much better. And it's funny because I actually spend more time learning more about business and things of that nature than I do about like new illustration techniques and everything. And I'm sure that there is going to be some sort of like backlash to that eventually, but I just geek out like crazy over that type of stuff.
I thought can you just go to the little wheel a second?
Sure.
In the preferences of the application.
Right here?
Yeah. No, I'll have to look it up. Because there's, in the early versions of Illustrator Draw, it had the curve fitting. You know what I mean?
See, I know that they have, because I have the French curves right here.
No, that's not what I mean.
No.
What?
You have to jump out the project.
I have to jump out of the okay, let's do that for a second.
Okay.
And then you'll have a completely new experience.
Okay.
All right, now go back to the...
or do you mean completely out? Okay, projects. There we go.
Uh-huh.
And then, in settings.
Okay. All right. And then if we go to preferences, and then you go, okay, stroke smoothing, while drawing or after drawing. So if you do that, you'll have a more...
You are about to change my life with this app completely.
Now you'll see it. It'll change.
Oh,
yeah.
that makes that changes everything. In fact, I'm undoing.
Okay,
a couple things.
stream stopped. Evil Stories says.
Say what?
Oh, did the stream stop for a second?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna go back.
All right, Mikael.
Michael?
We're good.
We're good.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Actually, now that just it's like, oh wow, okay. So let me actually go back to something else now. Go back to this guy, because now that like changes things, and now I'm like, okay, let me see how I can. Hopefully the stream didn't stop.
No, it's still. Yeah, Dwayne says, I just missed what he just discovered.
Oh no.
Are you Anurag? So apart from going to conferences and events, what other tactics do you use to make yourself more visible? Anything especially online?
So definitely social media. Social media is king in my opinion. I love. I'm always on Instagram. I'm always on Twitter, Dribble, Facebook. Like I'm usually always on there. And sometimes that can be a problem because it distracts me. It takes me away from everything. So that can definitely be a distraction.
We stopped Wirecast, so it would be just a 30 seconds break.
All right, 30-second break, people.
Yeah, we can dance.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
I don't even remember how it was. Oh, well, Rob Zilla surely remembers. What was... what? We're back. We're back. All right, we're back. Before it was called Illustrator... Adobe Ideas.
Adobe's Ideas, okay.
So Adobe Ideas influenced a lot of how Illustrator works.
Yeah.
Like recently and vice versa. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I learned a lot about the Adobe apps back last year at Adobe Max.
Yep.
I was there in San Diego, and I'm actually going back again this year. And so I'm always excited to see like what's going to be new and everything, and being able to like actually see some of the people who created the software as well. So, are we good or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that is. Oh, that's so much. Oh. This just made one illustrator very happy.
Right? It changes. Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah, it does. I know with like a lot of my illustration projects, I know this app wouldn't like replace it. But I think it definitely for personal projects is definitely a great feel. Because I use a lot of like custom brushes in Illustrator, and so like that's the one thing I would love to see with this is like being able to bring
for now we have custom brushes in Photoshop Sketch.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. There we go. That's feeling so much better. See, like even I am just learning the software, so anyone can learn it.
Oh, Curtis, you were waiting in the other stream, waiting. Well, you've just lost half an hour waiting in an empty stream then. I'm sorry about that, dude. So, Curtis, that's actually a very good point you're making here, because I'm always saying it. Don't watch it on YouTube, because you will be waiting for the next stream to start. If you come over to adobelive.com, everything is automatic. You just turn it on, and one stream will load just after the other. So.
Yeah, that's one thing I started earlier. I was watching it on there, and then I switched it over to Adobe Live, and it was like a lot more crisp and instant.
Right. Yeah. Also, because AdobeLive.com actually optimizes the video to your connection. Well, Curtis, welcome back. And sorry that you've wasted half an hour of your life waiting for the stream to restart. Yeah, I see a happy face there, Rocky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he's grinning inside. I can see like, oh, had I known that before.
Yep, like that changes like everything in my opinion. Just being able to like control that so much easier. Ugh. I think that's one thing that might happen is like over the course of the next couple of months, I probably will include video tutorials in my channel on this.
So what is your channel about now?
Right now, like my channel, I do some tutorials on there. A lot of it is creative stuff. I do a little bit of vlogging, and I also talk about freelancing a little bit. So it's really a hodgepodge of a lot of different stuff.
Valeria, so you mean that smoothing is not implemented on the Android version? I thought there was parity. Yeah, it should be there. You have to go out of the project and then go into the preferences. Should be there, right? I don't see why it shouldn't.
Yeah, it should be there.
Gotta love that smoothing.
Oh, Helen says, Rocky, any tips on where to start as a freelancer, a website, and be a freelancer for 6 months and no clients? My Instagram is growing, but no work is coming from it. Just followings.
I can definitely say like the biggest thing is just keep posting. I've been freelancing since I was in high school. So like I've been freelancing for 10 years now. And honestly, I didn't start getting my big clients until probably about 2 years ago when I actually moved out here. And
it does take time.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, you have to be very, very lucky if it happens quickly. I mean, even I remember when I was freelancing and before I had my company and everything, it took time.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time doing business cards for your tattoo artist friends and your local
covers.
pub, and and stuff like that, and and then one thing leads to another, and but it takes a lot of work. It doesn't happen overnight.
I remember one of my first clients was a bunch of rappers that wanted mixtape covers. They wanted it to be different. They wanted to have Illustrator mixtape covers. And honestly, like, it was fun creating the work. Mm-hmm. It was pulling teeth trying to get paid.
Yeah.
That was like the big thing. But no, like, if you can get on, if you can just like keep posting on social media, whether it's Behance, it's Instagram, just keep posting where people can find everything, then things will start to come in. It'll come in very slowly and everything, but when you just make the jump into freelance, you're not going to get like a major client right away. Mm-hmm. That's just unfortunately not how it works. I wish it was sometimes.
Yeah, because it's a trust-based industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's if a client is gonna invest on you, it's because that client trusts you, or has heard somebody, a friend of theirs, or somebody that said, "Oh no, you can trust Rocky."
Yeah. Like, I think
believe me, you can trust Rocky.
I really think I did the math on it back in May, and 80% of my freelance clients that come in are referrals. Mm-hmm. They don't come in from cold calling or anything like that. A lot of them come in from referrals from people I've done work with in the past, and sometimes it's work that I did like 5 years ago and everything. So when you start doing those small projects, don't burn the bridges, because those can lead to gigantic opportunities. Yeah. Oh, that snapping is so good.
And you know that you can send that directly to Illustrator.
Yeah. That was another thing that really made me happy, is being able to like take this and put it into Illustrator. One thing that, because I use Illustrator, that's my number one thing. I've been using it. I think the first time I used it was back CS2, I think, maybe. I think that might have been the first time I used it in 2004. And so I've been using it for 13 years, and honestly, like, every year it gets better and better. And so, like, being able to have something that I can just, like, I don't have to have it tethered to my, computer or anything like that, it makes it so much better. Because I can go ahead, even if it's something that I want to go back and redo later for, maybe with like special textured brushes, I can at least start working on the idea and seeing, if it has any legs. And I should say one thing that I don't have with me today, I know I brought it, I just couldn't find it in my bag, was I usually have like a special glove for my hand.
Like the Wacom glove.
Yeah, exactly. Just because, like, I know for me, I sweat, my hand like sweats, or it like it will like press against the screen and it won't be able to work properly. So that's just like one thing I just like carry around with me just in case.
So Anita, do you use any other Adobe apps? Yeah, so we heard Illustrator, Photoshop, I imagine.
So I've used, the main three that I've used ever since like 2004 was Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop. Those are like the three I've always used. I still use InDesign to this day for any type of like business-related documents. I lay out these really cool documents. I also use Adobe Premiere for my YouTube videos with Adobe Audition. I did After Effects in college, and I'm actually going back in and relearning it
To animate your characters?
Exactly, because that's the one thing I want to be able to do. Maybe not these styles, but like the flat illustrations I do, I want to like bring them to life.
Yeah,
and
character
everything.
animator, right?
Yeah, like there's so much potential, and that's one thing I'm excited about with Adobe Max is I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the sessions with After Effects and characters, character animator, and everything. So that's really cool. But that's like the one thing that I always tell people is you never stop learning. You know, if I just stayed and just like learned Adobe Illustrator, yeah, I could become a master of it, but then, you know, maybe I want to animate, you know, characters and everything, so I need to like learn that part. And it also increases like my bag of tricks for clients as well.
So yeah, so which program is best for animating your characters? You know, it's a mix, I guess, from After Effects and Premiere and the new character animator. Have you ever tried it, character animator?
I have not yet, because I actually
think that's pretty cool because you can like really use your webcam and then make your character talk, you know.
Yeah, like that's definitely something that I want to play around with, because I told myself I was going to set aside starting next week 1 day a week where I just like am learning something new, and animation is going to be the thing that I go to, and so I think I'm going to start with After Effects, and then I'm going to go into the character animator.
That's good. 1 day a week to learn something new. Maria Grönlund, one of our guests, many times actually, she made it a life rule in her workflow to learn one tool a day. Like spend some time every day to learn a new tool.
One thing I used to do was I would make sure every day I would go through and create something. Not necessarily learn it, but create something in order to learn it. You know, so I could get better, you know, maybe with the Blob brush tool, or maybe get better with just like using brushes in general. So that was definitely something that I did. And like I'm a very big fan of side projects. In fact, my side projects are usually what end up bringing me some of my biggest clients.
Yeah.
Such as like the Stranger Things brought Envision my way. My side business, Slaptastic, which is a monthly sticker subscription service, that brought me work with Facebook.
Okay, cool.
So it's like sometimes if I'm like, okay, I want to try and like find maybe a new client, or if I'm like, you know, maybe things are a little stale. Maybe things are a little stale, and I want to, you know, just try and try something new, like whether it's a new style or maybe I don't know, something along those lines. I just like go in and we'll create it. So like with Slaptastic, I was like, okay, I want to create something that's not for myself but can like help my friends, and so I created that. With Stranger Things, I was more like wanting to create something for myself. So let's see.
So matter is that, did you study for this, or has illustration always been like an intense hobby? Or
so I did go to college for this. I actually in high school I took 4 years of a graphic arts class, and I learned a lot there. I learned how to use the software and everything like that. It's where I got my love for Illustrator, and I went to college for design. And honestly, and this is why I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed back at my university, I learned nothing at the university. I taught myself more outside of class. Instead of focusing on like the classwork and everything like that, I decided to focus on the things that I wanted to do. And so I would reach out to illustrators, designers, animators, t-shirt designers, and just like ask them questions. I would send them my portfolio and just like ask, if you have the time, can you take a look? I got 90% of the time I actually got a response, which was pretty good. especially for a college student. And most of the time it was like a blanket letter of like, so this is what I tell, college students and everything like that. And that's fine. That little bit helps. But it got me to do more freelance, and it landed me my first client, major client in college, which was Cards Against Humanity. But no, like when it comes to training, honestly, YouTube videos, and then also just like self-exploration.
That's also something that I find fascinating in these streams is like when I always see designers creating the sketches, but you notice that where he sketched the buttons, that's not where he draws the buttons. So basically, no, this is actually super important because a sketch is just the base. And,
exactly.
And then you take all the decisions afterwards.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like I always do sketches super loose. And so I literally will use them for like the main part. So like, for instance, where the shirt is or something like that. But when it comes to like details, like for instance, the buttons, I just like eye it and see what works, because nothing is going to be the same as like a sketch. A sketch is always just super loose.
Good for you, Anita, updating her copywriting skills so she has another string to her bow.
That's one thing I've always tried to play a little bit with, copywriting, but for one, I'm horrible with grammar. In fact, my mom actually proofread every single paper I wrote in college.
Thank you, Mom.
Yep. She jokes that she got a college education through me.
So while we're at this, remember that on adobelive.com, down below there's a few buttons, and one of those buttons actually brings you to our contest that we're running these days, these 3 days. So basically what we ask you to do is to use either Adobe Photoshop Sketch or Adobe Illustrator Draw to create a design or an illustration and artwork that's based on the theme summer. It's a little bit like this is your summer cowboy, your summer Crocodile Dundee. So the theme is summer, and then what we ask you to do is to share that artwork with us on either Twitter or Instagram. These are the two platforms, Twitter or Instagram, using the Adobe Live hashtag Adobe Live, one word. And basically, you have until Thursday, August 10th, 11 p.m. to submit your artwork, and 10 winners will be announced on Friday morning by Michael Shrez, Shrez on Twitter. And the prize is, for the 10 lucky winners, is a 1-year subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, plus 120 Adobe stock credits over a year. So that's 10 credits a month. It's almost like a subscription to Adobe stock for a whole year. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yes, please participate, share your work. From tomorrow on, we will start looking at the Twitter and Instagram feeds, looking for the hashtag, and hey, maybe we can even see some of the artwork while we're streaming.
Yeah.
And then the winners will be announced on Friday. Shall we do a giveaway?
Ooh.
All right. What? It's time for a giveaway. Yay, why not? Isn't what?
10 minutes.
In 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, there's going to be a giveaway. And we're
Awesome.
going to give away the printed illustration that you're
Oh, wow.
working on.
Yeah.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah?
fine.
We're going to print it out and send it to a lucky winner. Actually, 2 lucky winners, because we're going to do 2 lucky draws this stream. And we have a very impartial system called Nightbot. It's a bot. Very cold bot. Very impartial. There's no... how do you say when you pay a politician or something?
No bribing.
No bribing, that's right. There's no bribing Nightbot. Nightbot will choose a winner out of all of the people in the chat who give us the correct answer. And I already have the question in my mind. Yeah, I'm prepared today. I'm on a roll. So let me just... tell Nightbot what the answer is to my question, and don't answer the question when I ask it, okay? Because many guests,
Yeah.
I ask the
They
question.
want to answer.
No, and they answer it because they think I'm asking them. You know?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. No, in 10 minutes. We said in 10 minutes. We're gonna.
I'm in the mood now.
You're in the mood now. Okay. Michael Shays is in the mood. All right. So basically, this character that we're drawing right here with Rocky Roark, is not from the U.S.
What?
No. It's not from the
See
U.S.
your visa?
Yeah. Can we see the visa for that character? By the way, did you try the test? Would you have gotten your visa with a new test? Try it out. All right. So, question is, what country is that cowboy from? All right. It's not the U.S.
I got 300 questions.
It's actually. I'm not gonna go into politics right now. Let's go for it. Federico Butler, where I submit the work to either Instagram or Twitter using the Adobe Live hashtag. Dwayne Tatum, Italy. No, that's where I come from. Yeah, and I'm not a cowboy. Not yet. Who knows? Maybe one day. Serendi Pandas, Sweden. I don't think so. Code Blue, Ohio. There's so many different. Mexico. Oh, Gabi. No, no México. Esto no está un cowboy mexicano.
I'm actually learning Spanish myself, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a chill language. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like.
My fiance is Mexican, and her parents don't speak English. Or her mom.
So that's actually a duty more than a
Yeah.
hobby, right?
Yep. Let's see if I can remember. Aprendo español porque quiero hablar con mi suegra.
Muy bien, muy bien.
And that's the only phrase I can really say very fast.
Adobe Live en español.
Where's the Lucha Libres?
Well, someone must get it right? Yeah, Cocoa, intolerant Cocoa. You're right. There's many people who got it right. There's still people like giving any country in the world, like Japan, Jamaica, Mexico, vaqueros. Yeah, no, it's not a vaqueros. It's not a vaquero from Mexico. And not from Argentina. Oh, gracias, Hector. No, Puerto Rico. And Ryan says, I was the third to say Australia. It doesn't change anything. You can be the first, the second, the third, the 100th. But we're going to get Nightbot to choose a winner. No, I'm not doing anything. I'm not Nightbot. Here's my hands. Okay, Adobe en vivo. All right. All right, and Bree464, you've won the giveaway. So Bree, the correct answer, of course, was Australia. And Bree, what we need to hear from you is your Twitter handle, so that my team here can actually get in touch with you and give you all of the information you need to claim your prize. You've just won yourself a printed version of Blue Cyclops illustration here. And yes, that's an Australian, I don't know, do they have a name for cowboys in Australia?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out.
Bree464. Oh, here we go. All right, you got that, team? Is Gus here? Oh, okay. So basically the Twitter handle is in. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, Bree. Woo, woo, woo.
How are we doing on time?
We're doing good. We have a whole hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely probably get this done in time.
So there's a palm tree there?
Mm-hmm.
Because near the reef.
Yeah, I know.
Coral reef.
I didn't do much research.
Yeah,
with
it's like
this.
the cowboy at OK Coral Reef. Oh, Bree464, I'm so happy. She said, I've never won a giveaway. Well, today is your lucky day.
Congrats.
Federico will be looking at illustrations on Instagram and Twitter from tomorrow.
Yeah, it's very interesting because like this definitely reminds me of the like ink drawings that I'll do from time to time. The only difference is it's digital instead of being on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a sketch to go with it too.
Yeah. But the sketch you did in Photoshop Sketch, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got that pencil feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing is like I'll sometimes just if I'm just like bored or something like that, I'll just like get a sketch pad out and I'll get like a regular ink pen and I'll just start doodling. And I'll just like do characters, do a little bit of lettering and stuff like that. And it's just like a fun exercise to get like creative juices flowing. And sometimes they'll turn into full-blown illustrations. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a fun little exercise I do. And it definitely helps with like figuring out style and stuff like that.
Just a few answers here. Transillion. Hi, for some reason I always miss the first day of streams. Yeah, right. You know what? If you subscribe to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel, there's a little bell icon that says, hey, alert me whenever they're live. Just send me a little message on my mobile device or while I'm working, and you will never miss a stream. Okay, so Transillion, subscribe to the channel and activate that little alert thing. Okay, so I want this to be the last time that you miss the first day of class. All right. Actually, the first day of the stream. All right, and then Carlos Santos. Yes, the sketch has been made in Photoshop Sketch using the pencil tool because it feels so much like a pencil. And yes, Meral gave the answer as well. And Kevin Schneider says, what is better, draw illustrations with brush tool or pen tool?
In Illustrator? Is that the question?
Yeah, I guess.
So,
because there's no pen tool in...
yeah. I actually have... it's very rare I use the pen tool anymore. Depending on what illustrations I'm doing, if I'm doing like a style similar to this, I just use the brushes. And then I'll use the Blob brush tool to fill it in.
Yeah.
If I'm doing...
still using the iPad and Astro Pad you mentioned.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have a Wacom tablet?
I did.
Okay.
I bought it... Actually, I bought it May 2016, and then I sold it April 2017.
Okay.
I got this in January, I think, and it completely changed everything. And the biggest difference, the reason why I prefer the iPad Pro versus a Wacom, is because it's so portable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like all I need is just like a regular Apple charger to connect to my computer, and that's it. I don't have to like carry around, big cords or other stuff like that. And plus, like, I love how the Apple Pencil feels. It's super light.
So you got the Astro Pad Pro or the subscription thing, or
I got the subscription.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
They totally deserve it because they did incredible work on the lag, on the responsiveness.
That was the biggest thing. Yeah, that's what caused me to get it, was actually the when like there's not nearly as much lag anymore.
No.
So is this all going to still be on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's called replays. And if any of you are interested in the replays, they're going to be available after each stream. We're on the 4th stream today. There's already 3 streams archived in the replays section on adobelive.com. There's a little button down below on the left that says replays, and they're there. And then after that, they'll also live on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel and the live videos replays section. I don't know. the playlist. There we go. Herman Zelinsky, Rufus, last year you said you know 3 languages. No, I never said that. English, French, and German. Okay. Where did Spanish come from? Are you an international spy? No comment. I'm going to leave it hanging there. No comment. But no, yeah. Anyway. But I just fake speak Spanish. I can like make a few sentences like that and make it sound like I really know what I'm talking about. But I understand Spanish, but I can't talk it.
I live so close to the Mexican border, and I've actually gone to Tijuana quite a bit. And when I'm there, my fiance has to completely translate.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, let me try something. And I try something, and they just laugh at me.
That's not nice. So Joel's back says, what's the difference between the Pro version and the basic version of AstroPad? So basically, I don't know, but I think it's
mainly
very
the lag. That's the biggest difference I've seen, because I actually have the basic version, but I went ahead and got the paid version, the subscription. And it's because I tested them both out.
$8 a month or something.
Yeah. It's a Netflix subscription, so it's not bad. And so like I got it and I tested it out because I just was like, okay, I can cancel if I don't like it and everything. And yeah, I haven't gone back.
Stuff falling from the wall behind us. Behind the green screen, something fell down.
The building's falling apart.
It's a nice building.
Oh yeah. As I got in, I was like, I can't believe I'm in Adobe's like headquarters. Pretty much. It's like, wow.
Carlos Santos, is it, if possible, share your options and decisions while you're working. Are these vectors or smoothed pixels? No, these are vectors, Trillion. Actually, you can zoom in. Zoom in more.
That's as far as it goes.
As far as it goes.
67.
No. Okay, you see that the sketch in the background that's been made with Photoshop Sketch is actually pixelated because that's pixel based. But everything that's drawn in Illustrator Draw is vector based. And there's a little button here if you just want to press it for a second. No, the send button.
This one right here.
Yeah, you can actually send it to Behance, to Creative Cloud, to it doesn't. Adobe desktop apps.
Yep.
You can send it directly to Illustrator or Photoshop, and it's so cool because if your desktop computer is on or your laptop and you have your iPad next to it and you say send to Illustrator, suddenly on your computer Illustrator will start to load, and boom, the illustration is open in Illustrator and you can do whatever you need to do in it.
I think this is actually one of my favorite features is the shapes. Has to be one because it's something that sometimes I when I'm working I wish I had that, and so it just it makes things so much better.
So Shona sorry, I don't know how to say it. Shauna. Rocky, you missed a chance to say wow like Owen Wilson.
Wow. I'm trying to remember how he says it. All right. That's, what's his name? Yeah, there you go. All right.
So Cocoa Intolerant, when you send it to Creative Cloud and to Illustrator, for example, it's still vectors, and you can continue working as vectors when it's coming from Illustrator Draw, of course. Layers and all. That's right, Kathleen. Hey, Kathleen. Right there. Yeah.
All right.
Panchason. Okay.
I've known her for so long and I cannot pronounce
Shona?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we have the basic lines done. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a separate layer for the color. And so one thing I always do is I actually never color in color at first. I always do values.
Mm-hmm. And a new layer.
Yep. Increase that. Too big. Yeah, I never knew about the Blob brush tool until about, I don't know, last year. And once I learned about that, it completely changed everything. It's when I learn about a new tool that really helps out my workflow, oh, it's so great. Because then I don't have to use the pen tool anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So this feels pretty much like using the Blob brush tool.
Okay, yes, let's have a petition here. We need the cat song back. Did Michael really remove the cat song? Really? You're so brutal. The decisions you're making, man. I mean, that's right, Evil Series. So there's a song in the playlist that we all used to call the cat song because it had like little cat sounds like meow, meow. So people in the chat would freak out because those who had cats thought it was their cat. And then it was an opportunity for everybody to put cat emojis in the chat. Fun times. And Michael Shays has removed it from us.
How dare he? So how does the fill work? Because I remember seeing Rob do it. Should be completely closed up, and is it?
Yeah, but I don't.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm learning here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still prefer to do because there are certain things I can with the Blob brush tool I can do to quickly fill it, but still there's times where I'll want to just still color it in, because it's crazy, because it's like we have these adult coloring books now, and I create these illustrations. They are my adult coloring books.
Oh. Yeah.
It's very de-stressing.
Why don't you just fill it then? Why don't you just fill the area?
Well, I did there. The bigger ones,
yeah.
I'll do it. But yeah, for the smaller areas, I usually won't. I think this one's going to be probably stay in grayscale.
Oh, Lee Cooper. Crying cat. Who's the one using Draw right now? It's Blue Cyclop, aka Rocky Roark. Or the other way around.
I guess he's asking for people actually use
Oh.
I know that's what I was doing earlier as I was watching Rob do it. I was like, okay, I'm going to practice some more before I get on here. I know my friends, actually I saw one of them in the chat earlier. They were asking me, okay, so what kind of tablet should I get? And I told them to get a Cintiq. And they went out and bought Cintiqs, and then 2 months later I get an iPad Pro. And they're like, why didn't you tell us about this? I was like, I had no idea.
That's actually also a very good technique, because if you have these basic colors, then you can just color them very quickly afterwards, right?
Exactly. Especially in Illustrator, I'll go and do these values. I don't know if I'd be able to do them in here like this, but in Illustrator I would do them all in grayscale, and then it gave me, okay, I need a light color for the skin tone. I need a dark color for the hair and everything.
Yeah, because Michael Monnier asked that, please could you explain the process of coloring with values?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, is because a lot of times when I'm working with clients, I might not have a color palette right away, and so if I first doing this, I get a benchmark of what it could possibly be, and that way I know, okay, no matter what, these colors cannot kind of switch in a way. They have to, there has to be a dark color for the hair. There has to be a light color for the skin tone, because sometimes something like this might be, all blues or something like that, instead of a different, a peach color for skin tone, or a blonde color for the hair or something like that. I've had a lot of people ask me about that, and honestly, I have no idea where I got it from. As I do this style here, that's just what I do. And even my flat illustration style, I also will sometimes, if it's a new client, I'll do everything in grayscale. But if I'm doing it with a client I've worked with for months or even years, then I'll build it in their color, so I know exactly what all this has to be. So I wonder what kind of questions we should ask for.
Simon Blackmore. All right. Nice rendition of Rufus. Professor Rufus. I don't know. Did you just wait to get that screen grab when I was going? Nice one. Thanks for sharing, dude. Kevin Schneider, 1:16 a.m.
Oof.
Yeah, it's getting late there. Yep.
Yes, thank you for sticking with us this long. Oh man, I would be probably
Anybody
asleep.
from India or the Pacific region still with us?
That'd be impressive.
Ooh, Michael Chaz is warning he'll do some improvised hosting tomorrow. I wonder what that means.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact
Yeah.
same thing.
Standard routine? Yeah, right. Oh, are you Anurag? Yeah, Anurag, I was guessing 4:47 a.m. and 4:17 a.m. there. So 4:47, that means you're in India. And 4:17, I don't know, some Arabic country?
Could be Russia.
Arslan Ali, I was thinking maybe
okay.
from
Yeah, I didn't
the
see
Middle
a,
East.
I didn't see a name. Yeah, I don't know. Every time when I do an illustration like in a style like this, it's very like therapeutic, like going through and like coloring it like this. And every time I think to myself, I'm like, wow, I am back in elementary school.
Oh, Arslan, Pakistan. All right. And yeah, 1:17 in the Netherlands, not it.
One day I hope to make it to Europe.
Never been there?
Mm-mm. The only places I've gone out of the country was to Tijuana, and to the Bahamas on a cruise ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the extent of my world traveling. I've seen a lot of the United States. In fact, I was on a road trip, a 3-week road trip in June, and got to travel all over, so it was fun.
Shilpa from India. Yeah, you see, we've got some dedicated people in the audience there.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Let's actually create...
Oh, there we go. That's actually very interesting, Arslan. Thank you so much. Very good feedback. Why did you hard press the screen to fill the color in? There's probably several reasons. Like what happens when you hard press now? Just now, like there?
Are you talking like out here?
No, here. Like what? Instead of like.
Well, like I hard press there to fill that.
Yeah.
Here, I'll undo it. So I just hard press.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But like if
But
you like
you
do
have-
it without anything there, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Where was that mistake? Oh.
Yes, it would have also been nice in full color, but I think the color is coming.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm gonna see how it works because I don't know how it's gonna work right now.
Because basically you can use those fills just to substitute them with color, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know in Illustrator this is how my normal workflow works, but I don't know here how well it's gonna work. That's where the interesting part's gonna come in.
Thank you for filling in the survey, Gabby. So yes, for those of you who don't know what the hell Rufus is talking about right now, what survey? Go to adobelive.com. There's a button down there below on the left that says give us feedback. Yes, because we're requesting feedback from our audiences to find out, what your thoughts are about these Adobe live streams, and if there's anything we should do, change or make better, or if everything's just cool, and give us your feedback. It would be very, very appreciated. And there's also buttons to share your portfolio with us, your Behance portfolios, to join the Creative Cloud if you haven't already done so. The schedule. Like, for example, the schedule, because we're going to be done in about 40 minutes here, but this is day one of a 3-day live stream, and we're at the end of day one. Tomorrow we'll be back at 9 a.m. Pacific time. But if you go here on adobelive.com into the calendar, all the times are actually in your own time zone. So that's actually pretty easy to not get the wrong time. So we're going to be starting with live illustration with Robert Jennerett III, aka Robzilla. Yeah. He's right there. Yeah, did you hear that? Yo, Robzilla in the house. And then we have Alice and Sophia again, continuing to work on their illustrations in Adobe Photoshop Sketch, and then Shyama Golden will be back, and Rocky Roark for day 2, and then same thing again on day 3. So that's a very cool way to see the schedule, is that right here on adobelive.com. And then there's a contest, and we're going to be doing a giveaway pretty soon again, a print of this drawing that Rocky's working on. But we have a contest going on. That's an ongoing contest over the 3 days. And basically what we ask you to do is to download Photoshop Sketch, Adobe Photoshop Sketch, or Adobe Illustrator Draw, or both of them, and create an illustration that has the theme summer. All right, summer is the theme for these illustrations we're looking for. And then we ask you to share those illustrations with us on Instagram or Twitter or Instagram. Either way, using the hashtag Adobe Live, hashtag Adobe Live. And we will be reviewing those. Maybe we'll be looking at some of them even as soon as tomorrow, just having a quick look at what people are presenting from all over the world. And you have until Thursday, August the 10th, at 11 p.m. Pacific time to submit these. You can make multiple submissions. It doesn't need to be just one. So feel free to submit as much as you want. But after 10 p.m. on 11 p.m. on August the 10th, it will be closed. And on Friday morning, Michael Shays, M. Shays on Twitter, will announce 10 lucky winners. The 10 best designs, artworks, illustrations will be showcased there. And the 10 winners will get a 1-year subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, plus a 1-year subscription to Adobe Stock. Basically meaning that you get 10 stock images a month. That's a total of 120 stock images in the whole year. All right, so that's pretty cool. Creative Cloud plus stock. Great prizes. 10 winners. August the 10th. There's a pattern there. All right, so contest, that's right here on adobelive.com as well. And then, of course, the replays. And there's already the replays from Robzilla, from Sophia and Alice, and Shyama.
Yeah, so I think
Von Glitchka, Rufus had that super villain accent. Am I like a super villain?
Possibly just a little
Yeah, a
bit.
little bit. Maybe
Maybe make it a little more sinister, and then you have it.
my German,
Ja, German.
my
Aye.
German,
Ja,
my German
those Germans.
DNA.
Jawohl.
So anyway, Vonster, it's great to see you here. Thanks for joining. Great illustrator.
Yeah, excited to see you in at Adobe Max this year.
Yeah. Oh, you know Vonster.
Mm-hmm. I know. Definitely know Vaughn. Met him at one of my favorite conferences, Creative South. We chat from time to time. Very nice guy.
Awesome.
So it's going to be pretty interesting because I don't know if I will be able to do what I want to do with this, but it's...
Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
We still have about 30 minutes with you.
Okay.
Helen, you get that for your Russian accent. Fun Glitchka says, "Oh, Shona." So you all know each other there. Just do your thing in the chat. Like I said, the chat is becoming independent. It's like almost like artificial intelligence there, talking with each other. Soon they're going to be saying, one balls. Did you see that thing? That's right, Evil Series. We're going to be streaming in German on September 19, 2021. Yes. Auf Deutsch.
Jawohl.
Jawohl.
Ich spreche kleine Deutsch.
Ja, gut. Sehr gut. Ich kann dich ja vielleicht einladen.
Not that much. I took German in high school. I tried to teach myself Russian. I was very bored.
Yeah, Miguel Mura says, love the X ears. Yeah, I think that's a super nice technique to make the ears.
Yeah, it's something I've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, because some people make like this G kind of shape, right?
Yep. That's
people make the X.
Yeah, I think like one of my favorite illustrators who got me onto doing the X shape is Andrew Kolb. He's based out of Canada. He's a great guy. I've chatted with him numerous times and everything. And I got that from... I'm pretty sure that's where I originally picked it up from. But yeah, you usually will see people... Let me see if I can... There's so many different ways that you can do
It's like the ears of
ears.
a rugby player or a boxer.
Yeah. Because like there's so many ways you can... This is going to be very rough. But like, what you're talking about is like people doing... Like this. Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of people do this, and I think it's because cartoons usually will use that shape and everything. But I've always been more partial to using the X to do it, and I think it's because a lot less illustrators do that. Yeah. And so it's funny because a lot of my friends will be like, "Oh yeah, I recognize it because of the X." I'm like, I'm not the only one that does that. But like other people will do more like. More real ears. I mean, I can do more like realistic ears, but I just like, I don't know. Other people do, C ears and stuff, but
looks like a macaroni.
Yeah, I just always stick to the X because it's quick and easy, and not a lot of people do it. Okay, I'm gonna do one more layer here. Let's do...
Is that like clouds?
Yeah, like something interesting in the background, just to give it a little bit more life. Maybe even go so far as to add like something in the distance. I'm gonna do one more just so that it's separate. Just like add some sort
Yeah,
of
like little mountains in the background.
yeah. And that's the thing is like, especially when it comes to stuff in like the far off distance, they don't have to be perfect. I don't think I closed it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, something like that, and then need something in the top area too. Bring that down. Maybe add some birds.
Vultures.
Just to make it a little interesting. Okay, yeah, I like that. So, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if there's probably no way of selecting this, is there?
To do what?
To like select the color value, like a specific color probably.
Oh, all of them?
Well, no, like so like for instance, what I would normally do in Illustrator at this point is I would then start selecting colors.
Yeah.
And then changing those colors.
Yeah. So just take the color and just long tap on the gray area.
Ah, okay. Actually, no, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So let's see if I can.
So Foster says, do you prefer having the stroke smoothing happen after you draw or rather than while you draw? If so, why? Well, you've just discovered it, so you can talk about it.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I struggled with when I first started using this app was I didn't have it turned on for after. And so whenever I was drawing with it, it felt so much like Photoshop, which I'm not a huge fan of actually like inking in Photoshop because I feel like you have less control, or you have too much control, I should say. But when I have it turned off, or have it where it smooths afterwards, it helps clean up the lines so much better and everything. So that definitely helps out. Let's see. It's always fun trying to find the right color.
All right, I think we're ready for another giveaway. Again, don't answer my question.
It'll be difficult.
Yeah, let me tell Nightbot what the answer is. No?
Very generous.
It's 2, right? 2 per stream.
Yeah, 2 guests.
Ah.
But we can do another one because we forgot to make one with Shion.
All right. You guys are lucky.
Yeah.
I'm bending the rules. I'm making Michael Shays all nervous because I make new rules. All right. So we know that Rocky now lives in Southern California, but what I want to know is what state does he originally come from? Do you see how easy that is to color it?
Oh yeah. See, that was the one thing I was actually nervous about because I was
Yeah.
like, as I'm doing this, and I'm like, I want to add color to this. How in the world am I going to do it?
So easy.
Oh yeah. See, like this, like the biggest takeaway that I get from this is that if, like, for instance, if I want to just test out an idea, this is perfect. Or for instance, or like if I was on a plane or something, and I can't, and I don't have my computer with me, this is perfect to like play around with and everything.
How many states are there in the U.S.? 52? 50?
67, I think.
67? So they you can try all 67 answers there. No, how many? 6, really? No? How many? Come on, you're American. Do it. Yeah, let's have the Frenchman Google it. 50 states. Well,
Geography was my strong suit.
so 50 different states you can choose from, but only one is correct. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah. Oh my God, 50. Of course, 50. I knew that. That was my first answer, and then Rocky corrected me. No, 67. I said, what? Okay, 67. I mean, he must know, right? Oh yeah. All right. Nightbot, give us a winner. And the winner is, I need to see it in my chat. Where is it? Do I have slow chat today? Come on. And the winner is Carlos Santos. Carlos Santos. Carlos, you need to give us your Twitter handle here in the chat so that we can contact you and give you all the information that we need from you to claim your prize. Okay, you're gonna get a print of this drawing that Rocky's working on. What? Will Patterson is in the house? Really? Hey, Will, how are you? Will Patterson from the UK. Incredibly talented hand letterer.
That is one thing that I am very jealous of. Anyone who can do hand lettering, I am very jealous of them because that's something that I am not very strong at. I attempt it from time to time, but it is not my strong suit.
And even to create the sun. I mean, even, you know, it's so easy with the layers and everything. And it's like so much control.
Oh, yeah. See, for me, like one thing that people always talk about are my use of color. And it's actually the one thing well, maybe actually they might have this. Is there a way to pull like color from CC libraries into here?
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Would it be under color? Or?
Yeah, color, and you go.
Oh, I see one of mine.
Yeah, the themes. Okay, that's the themes from the app, and that's your.
There we go.
There we go.
So now, actually, I'm gonna completely redo all that color because now I have all my colors here. Perfect. There we go. Excuse me while I quickly go through and change this.
Oh, so you have like a special palette for like a color palette for skin tones and things like that.
Yeah, like that's the one thing is that I have a lot of like color presets that I use. In fact, the craziest thing is everyone always asks me how in the world do you get all of like those colors, because every time I take an Instagram picture, I'll take a picture and I'll have like the color palettes off to the side. And whenever someone sees that, they're like, how would you get that? Is that what, like, is that even in Illustrator? I'm like, yeah, it's just CC libraries. And they never can realize that.
All right, Erlen Masson, you have to go to bed. Yeah, there's only 15 minutes left. So if you go to bed now, you're chickening out. Yeah. But then again, I can understand it's late. But 15 minutes. Come on, let's give Rocky another 15 minutes. You can do it.
You can do it.
You're gonna sleep so much better, Erlen.
Okay, let's play around with that.
That's right, Monster. You can photograph something with Adobe Capture and create the palette and push through CC onto the desktop or iPad. That's right. Did you ever use Capture, Adobe Capture?
I've played around with it, but I haven't really used it so much.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Maybe it's time to reevaluate.
Yeah, because I mean, like even just a few days ago, I had never really used the Sketch app, you know, and so once I found that and I started playing around with that, I was like, it completely changed my workflow.
Yeah.
And now it's like a very integral part of that.
And Erlen is saying my girlfriend will be mad in the morning if he doesn't go to bed now.
Oh.
But I would, if I were your girlfriend, I would be mad right now that you're still watching the stream.
I know.
So go to bed.
Yeah.
Go to bed. You're excused.
Let's see. How much time do we have?
Oh, we have about 15 minutes.
All right. Does anyone have any any questions?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the chat is so lively, and
Because we can always finish this one tomorrow and start on another one. Right now, it's just like trying to pick the right green.
just tweaking it. And
Yeah.
that's good.
There we go. That feels much better.
And then one thing I love to do in Illustrator is to play with the colors in Illustrator, like to change to assign colors to various other colors, or to make them more vivid and things like that. Like it's super useful, I think.
Yeah, and that's something I didn't know too much about until Adobe Max last year, when I was in one of the sessions where it was like, I think it was advanced Illustrator techniques, and when they showed me that, I was completely blown away. So
That's right, Dave Saunders. This is on an iPad Pro. iPad Pro with Apple Pencil, and using Adobe Illustrator Draw. A workflow that makes a whole lot of sense.
it's always fun trying to find the right colors.
Because right now their colors are really subdued.
And the thing is that one thing that tomorrow I'll probably end up doing with this is I'm going to probably take it to the next level and do shading, which is what usually always makes these pop so much more.
Yeah. So Kevin is saying, how do you find or get your ideas for illustrations? So yeah, for example, how did you why is this an Australian cowboy?
So I think I mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, but
it was yeah. I know it's hard. I bet you a lot of people weren't here at the beginning.
Yeah.
No, as I said before, a lot of times if I don't already have an idea in mind, what I will end up doing is I'll just start sketching, and then it'll just progress from there. So like for instance, this guy here, let me see if I can just quick show. Actually, I should have it up here. This was the original sketch, and honestly, this character literally started with just like the shape of the head and the body, and then from there I added the cowboy hat, and I was like, oh, I really like how this is turning out, and I started messing with the clothes, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's not a cowboy, maybe he's like an Aussie character. And so really like these things just progress onto itself. If it's something for a client, that's a completely different story, but when it's something just for like myself or the amazing people watching this, you know, it's just usually just
like
freehand.
April Diamond 42. She's been watching for almost 8 hours today.
Oh wow.
Yep, that's dedication. Thank you,
Yes.
April. Why do you color gray first instead of using color right away?
So that it's all about value, and I preferred using grayscale before color, just because it allows me to know where things need to be dark, where things need to be light, and everything. Sometimes I'll even wait until I've added shading before I actually start coloring.
Yeah, because that's also a rule in graphic design, I think. That's one thing that I've learned very early on, that if it doesn't work in black and white, it will not work in color. And so it's a good way to, and then just to replace dark tones of gray with dark colors and light tones of gray with light colors, and that'll work.
Yeah, like it's something that I've been doing now for quite a few years now, And so it's honestly it's become second nature to just start a that's correct layer, to start the illustration, coloring the illustration with grayscale, and then moving on into color. Sometimes it doesn't work for other people though. I've had friends who've tried it and they're like, you know what, I prefer to just go straight into color, and it's like it's whatever you like. Yeah.
That's what it's a free world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways to do the same things that whatever works best for you. That's my answer for everything. There's no best or better way.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Is like everyone has their own tricks. It's what works for you, not what works for everybody. So it's definitely like the best philosophy when it comes to stuff like that. I'm reading Vaughn's little message.
Yeah, because that's an answer to a question by Arslan. Says, what would you do if a client asks you to change the hand positioning of the character after you have completed it?
Yeah.
Will you do it from scratch or ignore the client?
At that point, depending on, because I'll give clients a couple of revisions, and I always tell them when it comes to that type of change, it needs to happen in the sketch phase. Versus when we're at this point. If we're at this point, that's a major change. That has to be, that's more money that has to be tacked on to the end and everything. So I've had clients who've done that, and I've had to have those discussions with them. And sometimes they'll choose to be like, okay, never mind, it's fine. Because it could be something where if it's like just like changing this hand, not like the full arm. That's a small thing. I might not even charge them, or might not even put up much of a fuss. But if it's like a client wants the whole body completely changed, then we have a problem. Then we have to like seriously talk about that. So that's always like an interesting.
Yeah, like Monster says, assuming you had them approve the sketch first. Yeah, that's right. And Kaila says, I would definitely like to know how many re-edits you guys think are too many, or how do you keep from overdoing re-edits?
So like depending on what the project is, it's different. Like if I had a project, for instance, let me think of a good one. If I had a project that had like 13 illustrations that had to be done, if the client is like a very picky client, and they're wanting a bunch of after we've gotten through all, he's like, all of a sudden he's like, oh wait, I want the colors completely changed. That's like, if it's 13, that's way too much. If it's like, if a client's like, oh, I kind of want like a different color, and there's 3 illustrations, it's like, okay, I'll change the color. They're like, okay, change it back to change it to this. Okay, I'll do it. Third time, it's like, okay, we need to reevaluate things.
Yep.
So it's definitely how I see things. Let's see. So I think, because how much time do we
have? Another 5 minutes.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give...
Start some shading?
Yeah, I'm just going to give a little insight into that and watch people go crazy sometimes. Because once people see this, they always... they're like, what in the world is he doing? And what it is that I do my shading in magenta.
All right.
Which...
Call 911.
And there's an interesting story behind that. It's because of it's just like with the values. It completely contrasts with everything. So I know exactly where the shading is and everything. And sometimes I will actually keep the shading in purple, not this magenta color, but it gives me a good idea of like how I want it to be. But as you start to add shading to these types of illustrations, it completely transforms them. Because right now it's like yeah, it's a little cute illustration, but then once you start going in for the details, that's when it really starts to take off. and I am by no means.
So how do you, of course the light is coming from the left because that's where the sun is. I was going to ask you, so where does the light come from? Like,
yeah, and I am by no means a master at shading. So honestly, a lot of times it is just trial and error and just like eyeballing it.
So Rocky, we have 3 more minutes. So first of all, thank you for this first day with us. We have another 2 days for this live mobile illustration stream. And tomorrow on day 2, we will start with Robzilla. And that's happening at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you go to adobelive.com, there's a full schedule and it's actually adaptive to your own time zones. So making it super useful. And there's even a button that lets you add it to your calendars.
Very cool.
So not to forget. So those of you who said, I just joined the stream. Oh, how could I forget? Well, you have no excuse anymore. So we start with Robzilla, and then we're going to have Alice and Sophia again, and then Shyama, and we're going to end tomorrow, day 2 again, with Rocky Roark. And we're going to just maybe go on with a little bit of shading and maybe look at a new illustration.
Yep.
And also remember that on adobelive.com we have a running competition under the contest tab where we ask you to use either Photoshop Sketch or Illustrator Draw to create a piece of design, of artwork, of illustration on the theme summer. And we ask you to publish your creations to Twitter or Instagram using the Adobe Live hashtag, and we will be reviewing them after the deadline on August the 10th at 11 p.m. Pacific time. So that's a hard stop because then we will be reviewing them, and on Friday morning Michael Shez, M Shez on Twitter, will actually showcase the 10 winners, and the 10 winners will win a 1-year subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud and a 1-year subscription to Adobe Stock that includes 10 stock images a month, totaling to 120. Yeah, it's like, in my mind, it is now about like 2 a.m. So yeah, I can still do the math. So super interesting contest. Please participate. And last but not least, the replays. If you have missed any of the streams today, you can always go back to adobelive.com where we have all of the replays. Shyama's there, Alice and Sophia, and of course Robzilla, with whom we started this incredible stream on mobile illustration. So Rocky, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us, and see everybody tomorrow. Take care.